Okay, so nobody's getting the truth from the mainstream media, folks. It's well past time to open your eyes, your ears, and your mind. Do your own research because something isn't right here. And if you can't see that, you are not paying attention, folks.
It's the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. Now that's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The important message that we need Australians to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. In line with that, I do encourage all Australians to please go and book your vaccinations as soon as you can if you haven't already done so.
Emma, get away!
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Okay, we need to stand up against this tyranny, folks. Stop giving away your freedoms and liberties, because the more you give up, the more these people will take until you have absolutely nothing left. That's their agenda. All right, good evening, folks. Tuesday, 5th of August. We're cracking through before we know it. Be another month down. But, yeah, there you go. Move over to Matilda TV, guys, all right? Or, and hit the share button before you do go and get it out everywhere. Just remember, we're now on stoptherot.sackthelot.com.au.
Guys, I can't. I've been limited to 5 share outs. Can you please share it out so that because I can't do any more than what I've done. Thank you.
Oh, you can come in and chat to me if you want, whatever you want to do. All right, well, there you go. It's happening. Okay, guys, so a few things that are going around, all right? We got the Australian DNA lab. They're the reason for about a 3 to 4 year court delay. The lady who's done the review onto that and into it, guys, she's got, a lot of changes. I think it was over 100 or something things, but it is a backlog of over 12 to 24 months. A lot of it to do with kids. It's a big scam, guys. They're holding back the info that they want to hold back, and this DNA in the courts seems to be getting tested who they want to get tested, getting those ones through, but other ones don't come through. So, just, again, total schmozzle. Now, Sydney, New South Wales water. Apparently 25% of the front line, guys, this is the guys on the ground, okay? My dad worked for the water board. 300 workers going to get the axe. So what do you think they're going to be doing with our water? I wonder.
They're going to be selling it off.
300 workers, guys. 25%
yeah, selling it off.
No,
they're going to sell it off.
Albo can't get a call with BB. Thought that was, no, you just can't get one. Just no one's picking up, Caz. Sylvia's mother.
Oh, except he gets escorted. He gets escorted over to to China. Has a lovely time over there.
So we got Gareth Ward, and now he's going to make an appeal, or has made an appeal, guys. And if this goes his way, playing the system, he could look at another 2 years or more on full pay. Up to 4 mil saying, but anyway, I think she's got a bit of animosity there against good old Mr. Gareth Ward. But anyway, yeah, as I've been told, guys, 2 years he could be hanging around, right, and just getting paid. Like, what a load of bullshit. And he's, you know. Anyway, that's where it goes. I got a heap other stuff up here, Caz, but it doesn't really matter. It's just all pretty similar bullshit, you know what I mean? Just pointing out exactly what these guys are up to, which we do every night. So if you want to just start cracking and we'll get into some clips or whatever you want to do, or I can go through the top of my bar up here, however you want to work it.
Oh, well, you know, it's just a case of struggling to get this show out at the moment. So if you guys can all share it out and share it to your community notice boards as well, that would be very helpful at the moment. Because
and while you're doing that, yeah, I mentioned North Sydney Pool, guys, and I mentioned 50 million over there at Parramatta or somewhere or wherever it was to do that pool up over there. Now, this started North Sydney at 57 million. All right, and will have taken 5 years. Like, I could have done that with me and Mel and our two sons. Like 5 years to refurb a pool at a cost of $122 million. Like, and it's put the local council 56 million bucks in debt, prompting to consider some unpopular methods of clawing back cash, like increasing rates by 90%, charging people to watch New Year's Eve fireworks, and selling public streets to private schools. Okay, private schools. Let's go up here. Where are we? Anyway, I'll flick through them. All right, so China very serious about renewable energy. What a load of bullshit. They're creating more coal-fired plants and, like, get out. You know what I mean? Okay, here we go. More than 50 private schools. Now, they just said sell them private roads to them, or public roads to private schools, yet more than 50 private schools have closed or announced plans to do this year after Labor's VAT raid, which is a tax, obviously, guys. It ends in a T, it's a tax. Raid come into force in January. The new 20% tax on fees has hit schools' budgets, partly due to families being priced out and leaving the sector. New analysis shows at least 54 private schools have folded since January the 1st when the tax became effective. Are these guys just going for broke or going for broke, Caz?
They're going for broke. Look, we've got, and it's creating massive consequences as well. You've got this situation in Western Australia.
Epidemic proportions. WA's housing crisis leaving close to 10,000 West Australians homeless each night. And as thousands spend their time on the streets, many properties around Perth remain vacant. Jamie Freestone with this special investigation.
This is the cruel reality of WA's housing crisis on a cold winter's night.
I had this up as well, which is silly. I realise now that you can't have it up because the water's got to run back down onto the tent.
A makeshift campsite hidden in the shrubs in suburban Perth. It's where Matthew Pelfreman and his 15-year-old dog Pepper call home.
The collars and stuff on? It's just wearing me out. It's exhausting. It's really exhausting.
After days of heavy rain, the 45-year-old is thankful when there's a chance to dry out his clothes.
The cold's been bad, but the rain, the water's the main issue.
He used to be a public housing tenant, but lost his home during COVID. Since then, he's mostly been living rough.
I've slept in building sites and stuff at times, a couple of times, to get out of the weather and stuff. I need housing. I need housing straight up. I need.
Same in Brisbane, same everywhere, guys. Same on the North Coast, same up in Northern Territory, Australia-wide, guys, worldwide, and especially in the 4 of the 5 highest countries, excluding obviously America. But America is in a shit show too.
Look, the Wayside Chapel, I think that they're actually one of the good ones. But they're actually asking for people, anyone that can help with like either donations, or what they really want is somebody, if you can offer a warm space on cold nights or a hot shower or something like that, something practical. If you don't have any money, they just want to know if you can basically host somebody for a shower.
I'd rather them not take any money, Caz, because who knows whether they're another, I'm not saying anything, but we've seen what happens with these, so-called
that's right.
institutions. You know what I mean? So
That's
if
right.
you can help out, and house someone or give them a shower or a feed, guys. Mel feed the boys down here. That's just part of what you do. We put a slow cooker on here, and me and Mel aren't going to eat it all. Well, guess what? I tell you what, some of the fishermen down here, the young fellas that are working on the boats, they won't knock it back when we go out with a bowl. But that's how it works. You look after each other.
Well, that's what we do as Australians. Okay. Look, Selena has weighed into it. She's one of the new influencers. She's doing a great job.
Immigration makes us richer, but Denmark has run the numbers, and the result, some immigrants are draining billions. This is Denmark's 2018 fiscal breakdown by age group. Native Danes contribute around the equivalent of 40,000 Australian dollars to public finances over their working life. Western immigrants contribute the equivalent of around $25,000. But immigrants from the Middle East, North Africa, Pakistan and Turkey cost the system the equivalent of around 66,000 Australian dollars per person. In total, non-Western immigrants and their descendants drained the equivalent of around 4.9 billion from Denmark's budget in just 1 year. That's around 1.4% of their entire GDP. Denmark is now breaking up parallel societies, even selling off housing blocks to force integration. Multiculturalism has economically failed in Denmark, and they're saying what other countries just won't. You can't have open borders and a welfare state. Denmark has crunched the numbers. Immigration does not always pay the price. The welfare model only works when everyone pulls their weight.
And, we've got that situation with, we've got more students coming in now as well, which is going to put a further strain.
I would believe Mr. Charles Haig there. He seems to be spot on with most things he says. So the Wayside Chapel is okay, guys. If we could find out that was okay, which I'm saying Charles is saying it is, look, more than willing to help them out. The problem is, guys, everything we seem to be helping out seems to be really in the background running against us. And no disrespect to the Wayside Chapel there. I hope you are doing God's work, and we'll have to look into that. And if you are, guys, we'll give you a bit of a plug. But, I'm very skeptical of all these things, Caz, now.
Well, that's it. Look, and Teresa, yes, you're correct. It's actually called Clywed and Piven. So it's a way of taking over a country by economically overloading their welfare system and collapsing it from within, and then they can bring in their control grid. And it's not just that. You've also got, now this is Drew Pavlov. He has actually been to Melbourne, and he's found within, I think he said a block, 12 Chinese real estate agents.
This one, it doesn't even have any English writing. It's just Chinese real estate. It's awesome. Chinese real estate. I think this is our third Chinese real estate. The bubble tea store and a Chinese real estate agency above. Chinese real estate company. It's a real estate company right here. A beautiful Chinese real estate company. Real estate firm, real estate company. Bubble tea and Chinese real estate next to each other.
Yep. And that's without the police stations they've got, guys. All right. And whatever else they got going on around the place, infiltration, Penny Wong, they got the lot, mate.
Well, the thing is that, we're awake to it now. Actually, I'll tell you, we'll skip the Rosie's thing at the moment. We'll go straight to Two Worlds Collide and the wind farm scandal, because that's another one of your favourite. Julia Gillard mentioned in that.
This story comes from a breakdown by Footnotes Guy on X. I'll link the full thread in my stories for you to have a look. And just to be clear, I'm not making any direct claims here, but if what's outlined in that thread is accurate, and it certainly appears that way with screenshots and receipts to back it up. So here's how it looks in plain Aussie terms. Step 1. Julia Gillard chairs a fund called HMC Capitals Energy Transmission Fund. They bought a bunch of renewable projects, including the Kentbrook wind farm for around $950 million. Step 2. They hadn't even raised the money yet. Most of it was borrowed, backed by IOUs and waiting on investors. In clear terms, that's like buying a house with monopoly money and hoping the bank just plays along. Step 3. Supposedly, less than a week later, Chris Bowen, the energy minister, approves that exact wind farm under the capital investment scheme. Translation, that project now gets taxpayer-backed guaranteed income for the next 15 years. Step 4. Now that fund appears to be trying to flip it for a profit. Buy it fast with borrowed cash, get it government approved, then sell it when it's still warm. That's the playbook, according to the breakdown. Now, let me break it down in an even more simpler form. Julia Gillard's fund bought a wind farm with funny money, then Bowen made it a guaranteed gold mine, and now that fund is trying to cash out. Fast. And all of it, it's perfectly legal. Officially above board, but to the normal Aussie, it stinks. Right? Let me put it to you this way. If this were poker, let's say someone walked in and bought their chips on credit, and the dealer they know personally guaranteed their win 5 minutes later, and no one at the table gets to see the cards. There's no public oversight, no freedom of information access, and no transparency. These renewable deals, they happen behind closed doors, and Chris Bowen has the final say, and we're told to trust it with no scrutiny and no sunlight. So here's the question: where's the green, where's the governance, and where's the public interest in any of this? Because to everyday Aussies, this just smells off. And this right here is why I don't buy the man-made climate change crisis narrative. Because behind every climate slogan, there's almost always a backdoor deal, lined with green tape and someone's profit. And you're not allowed to say a word about it. Why? Because like I've said 100 times, climate change is now a psychological tool. Not just to scare you, but to guilt you into silence. Because if you're anti-climate agenda, you're branded anti-human. But the real problem? These deals are anti-Australian. Oh, and Chris, if you're watching, thanks for the follow today, mate. Also, thanks for those insane power bills. And if I mysteriously get shadow banned or silenced after this video, well, I guess we'll know why, won't we? Australia deserves better than this. What's your thoughts?
Blackout Bowen's after you, brother. Look out, man. He's friended you now. You're going to get reported and you're going to lose your page. Oh, they're wankers, aren't they?
Oh, don't say that. Oh, God. So the people that were saying that he's AI, he's not. His name's Sam Beaufort or Bowman or something like that.
Yeah,
he served in Afghanistan. Sam Bamford, and he served in Afghanistan. It's very well documented on in the media. All right, Renegade has been at it again on the bus.
Forrest is here. Lovely to see Emma. Here we are. Where are we? I keep forgetting. We're in Newcastle. We're in Wickham. Wickham at the Croatian Sports Centre. So it's lovely to see a familiar face. We've got 5 interviews today. We've got a couple of big days, but it's going to be very exciting. We've had some very, very interesting and tragic stories. So hopefully this is getting the word out. Thanks for all the support, and lovely to see an old friend.
Catch up with them at Gosford tomorrow, guys. Get out there. Go and see them.
Now we had. Now, did I bring it in? So I didn't bring it in. Let me just go and grab it because you can see there's a couple of little data points going on here. Now there was all this after the protest on the weekend. There are all of these people that were saying, oh, you know, they were calling out to kill all the Jews and all of that sort of stuff. Well, no, they weren't, but there was this. Now, those kinds of things play straight into the hands of the government, okay? So, which is why, like, I would strongly suggest somebody
understand. What was he saying, Caz? I couldn't understand.
He was saying death to the IDF, death to the Netanyahu. However, other people were there saying, no, it was really peaceful. It was really respectful. It was just basically, so it was just one small pocket, okay? Now, but there were a lot of people there, okay? And then, of course, you've got this.
Today, you know, we're continually seeing these protests, continually seeing them from week after week. We've got weekends where they continue. And at the end of the day, Chris, I think it's got to be about time where they can't keep sucking off the taxpayer. It has to be a user pay system. If they're going to run these protests and they're going to continue to use resources here in the state of New South Wales, they need to pay for them.
But you can give all our money to Gaza and Israel and frigging whoever else, Ukraine and whoever else you want to. But we should be paying to say, hey, we don't agree with what you're doing.
They're protesting, you idiot, because they're unhappy with the government. They're unhappy, and that's their right. Why don't you do the right thing and then they won't be protesting? Like, hello?
They're going to pay for it, and soon there'll be a protest tax.
Yep, that's exactly where he's heading. And and then you've got this. You've got this situation, and listen to the arrogance of this.
In the sort of misinformation bill space, we've seen a rise in the deep fake stuff going on the internet, images of the PM announcing things he hasn't announced, even Sky presenters saying things that aren't true. What other action are you considering there?
Look, in terms of my priorities, absolutely we are working towards delivering the social media ban come 10 December. Everybody's had 12 months notice and we've got 4 months to go. And I'm also working on our review of the Online Safety Act and delivering a digital duty of care. I think that's an important next step on the road to online safety and making the internet as safe as we possibly can for all of its users.
Well, how about we put you on notice? No. You go. That was the Minister for Communications, Annika Wells. So, they're just filled with hubris at the moment, but it's no better with regards to the Liberal Party, because this is a shadow minister responding.
That developed this policy, and we actually had to drag the government to the table to have this legislated. We support protecting Australian children. We did have questions around the inclusion of YouTube. We would be willing to work with YouTube on protections for children, but the government has made it clear that YouTube is now included, that's the government's decision.
But the good thing is, who do they think they are? Meanwhile, you can see why they want things banned, okay, because you've got this. So now you're actually going to be paying more at the petrol pump, because it's basically gone from diesel's going to rise from 50.8 to 51.6% per litre with the fuel excise tax, because, we just don't pay enough tax. You've also got this pedophile Labor councillor who worked with children's homes walks free despite being caught with over 1 million child porn images, including 12-year-old girls being raped. You've also got, now this lady's done a really good breakdown of Peter Everett.
This is the Crime Weekly wrap-up for week ending 3rd of August. This is where you get a fast and furious look at what happened in crime and court cases in the past week. And what is my most watched TikTok of the week? It was about Peter Everett facing charges for sexually touching a teenage boy. And the Daily Mail are reporting that the former Ready Steady Cook host, Peter Everett, has spoken publicly for the first time since being charged with child sex offences. And he was telling the media he is holding up as well as possible and he intends to plead not guilty. Now, Everett, 66, was charged over the alleged sexual touching of a 16-year-old boy without consent. He was arrested in his Toukley home on the New South Wales Central Coast on Saturday and is later granted bail under strict conditions, including twice weekly reporting to the police.
All right, so there's that one, and she's also done one on Ben McCormack here.
McCormack, who used to work for a current affair, has been slapped with more than 60 child abuse material offences. Now, fun fact, I once told him I'd never leave my child alone with him. And this was when he was a current affair reporter. And then, as you know, he was charged, I think, in 2017 for child abuse offences as well. Now, what trouble has Mr. McCormack got himself into this time? Well, he's been arrested over the weekend, charged with 65 counts of using a carriage service to transmit child abuse material in Queensland. It's alleged the offending took place over several months from a home in Oxley and Brisbane South. He's now 51 and he's been charged with 4 other offences in relation to breaching his obligations as a reportable offender under the state's child.
So you can see why they want to shut us up, can't you?
Yeah, they're in our government, they're in our television, MSN. We all know it, but for you people who are just viewing the show, this is a news show where we expose the truth. Okay, that's all we do. We just put out factual information that the MSM will never, ever cover.
Well, the interesting thing about it is that actually Malcolm Roberts is starting to sound a lot like us with regards to this. He put this out.
And look at that under 16 ban. The real guts of that is that everyone will have to prove if they're over 16 or not. Mm-hmm. That means you've got to have digital identity. Mm. So let's have a look at the digital identity bill, the identity verification bill, the misinformation and disinformation bill, the under 16 ban bill, and a digital currency. All of those were introduced or developed by the Morrison Liberal National Government. Now, if you have all of those together, what it means, Cameron, is that if you keep this podcast and you discuss COVID again, you won't get your digital currency. They've got complete control of you through the social credit system. That's where they're trying to go. Yeah. And that's a policy by the World Economic Forum.
Yeah. Thank you, Malcolm, for
and
verifying everything we've been saying.
Yeah, may not agree with Malcolm or anything to do with him, guys, but the good thing is that the normal people out there know who Malcolm Roberts is, and they will take notice. They will at least listen. So it's a great thing, guys. And look at the people going down, man. I mean, this is
I know. And that's the crazy part. If there's not some other operation going on, then what on earth's going on? Because these guys back each other up and they cover for each other. So, like, we've got numerous examples where we've reported things and nothing's happened. Madison King has weighed in on it, and she's basically put out this point.
I think everyone right now is jumping the gun, because let me tell you something, and some food for thought, is that when X won their case against the E-Commission and the Australian government, it won it on a couple of bases. One was the mere fact that the server was based in the United States. So there's legalities around that. And secondly, the EU server clashed with the US freedom of speech. So I think this is all going to come crashing down before it's even started. Because at the end of the day, big techs will always come out on top. The Australian government has no power internationally or where the servers are stored. So for those who are under 16, I think you're going to be pretty safe. Take a look for yourself.
So without corporate compliance, it's just a policy engine. Guys, they had to, remember the QR code? They had to ditch them. Okay, because people weren't using it and other people were sabotaging it by putting an extra dot.
You wouldn't do that, would you? No. You could.
I don't know. Who would have thought of such a thing? Such an evil thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I don't know who would do that. But look, the thing is, you've got this crazy situation as well. Now, this is just a bit of a report on what's going on with Tickles versus Giggles. This is a lady who runs a lesbian website, okay, and a trans man decided to join, and now he's suing her.
The Giggle versus Tickle hearing. So a year's worth of working and strategizing and planning. 2.5 years these proceedings have been afoot. Today was the first day. Equality Australia have been granted leave to intervene. They'll be the last day. But it was predominantly Giggles submissions to be finished off with the barrister for the respondent. So they'll be starting again in the morning. Then we'll be looking at the cross appeal, the Sex Discrimination Commissioner, and then obviously at some point we are going to have to hear from the interveners, LAG, and also Equality Australia. So for Australia's What is a Woman case, and in defending women-only spaces, if you wanted to follow Sal Grover, Giggle for Girls, look her up on Giggle Crowdfund.
Go get him, girl.
Yeah. One of the, sometimes you need to be able to laugh at these things, and nobody does it better than Alex Stein. I don't know if you've seen this, Dave, but I've nearly sent it to you today, but oh my goodness, it's hilarious.
Introduce yourself. Go ahead.
My name's Alex Stein. I'm considered one of the sexiest men in conservative politics. And one thing I want to say, a lot of people are going to hear my testimony and you're going to say you're anti-LGBTQ. I want to say that's impossible because I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. So obviously I have a lot of gay pride. But, you know, a lot of conservatives like yourself, you want to outlaw transgenders in women's sports. I disagree. I like transgenders in women's sports because you can gamble on them and win money. You know, I won so much money on Leah Thomas's propeller in that pool. I almost turned DraftKings into Draft Queens. And, I actually like transgenders in the military, too, because, first of all, transgenders are some of the meanest people on planet Earth, so they'd make a good soldier, don't you think? And then, second of all, transgenders love to do mass shootings. So, that's perfect for a military veteran. And then on top of that, the suicide rate is incredibly high among transgender people. So we could just use them like the Taliban has suicide bombers. Maybe you guys can actually, if you commit suicide, actually help us in the battlefield. So that would be good. So I think we need transgenders in the military and women's sports. Now, when we come to the bathroom bill, though, this is an asymmetrical problem. Because, first of all, no dude cares if, like, a bisexual woman comes in there and tries to use, like, a pee funnel. Some lady boy comes in there, some, stud comes in there, wants to pee in the urinal. No guy's going to be threatened by, a trans woman. But we don't want these gargoyles in a dress, some chick with a dick coming in there and trying to pee or poop next to my girlfriend, because that's disgusting. And, well, I was going to say something. Listen, I have my First Amendment right. Let me just speak. So, we're sick of these transgenders trying to invade women's personal spaces. These people have autogynephilia, they're sexual perverts, and they actually get satisfaction from going there and looking under a stall. So these are mentally ill people that are on hormones, that are on all kinds of pills, they're impulsive, and they do not belong in a women's restroom. So if some of you lesbians want to come in and pee next to me, you're more than welcome. So we just don't let the chicks with dicks in the women's room, and you guys are all welcome in the men's room. I think that works.
Thank you very much.
Take the piss, eh?
He just does it so well. He just does it so well.
That was pretty good.
He is. Now look, we've got so much winning going on here, and it's actually started to be reported by the mainstream media.
Analyst Greg Jarrett. All right, what does it all mean? And I have 5 names for you: Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Obama, and Jack Smith.
Well, those are appropriate names. To go to a grand jury, Sean, a federal prosecutor has to have enough evidence to establish probable cause that crimes were committed. So it does look like the Attorney General believes she's already got it and has handed it off to a U.S. attorney. And I would say that Comey, Clapper, and Brennan are immediate targets for a myriad of false statements during their testimony, some of which I identified 6 years ago in the book Witch Hunt. But I think they're also developing a broader criminal conspiracy to target Trump based on defrauding the government, deprivation of rights, and obstruction of justice arising from an ongoing cover-up, which would extend the statute of limitations to the last overt acts of concealment. And that's still happening. Dozens, I think, could be charged as co-conspirators, people in the Obama administration, Hillary Clinton's campaign, intel agencies, lawyers, bad actors in the FBI. There were so many people, Sean, who peddled the Russia collusion hoax, who knew it was a lie, but they abused the levers of power to frame Trump and alter intelligence and suppress evidence. And conspiracy charges could extend to illegal acts against Trump after he left office. So wrongful prosecutions, the Mar-a-Lago raid, there might also be a grand jury convened in Florida. So multiple jurisdictions, multiple defendants. Comey, Clapper, and Brennan would probably invoke the 5th in front of a grand jury. But the people below them might do deals, and I think there are a cavalcade of whistleblowers willing to come forward now.
What do you think it means?
Yeah, interesting. They will plead the 5th. Yeah, they'll plead.
They will. But the thing is, it's happening. It's finally happening, and it's been a long time. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. Now the one of the things that's really interesting that we haven't covered a lot of is these towers. Have a look at this drone.
Is what I would call an everyday crime.
Other problems, he said, caused by the towers aren't as easy to spot.
Depression, and I get headaches from time to time.
To broadcast the entire Earth, it takes 2 kilowatts, 2 hair dryers. Now, a microwave oven uses 1,000 watts, or 1 kilowatt. Here's the damage 1 kilowatt can be done by somebody when they take a magnetron out of a microwave and turn it into a ray gun. This is just a small example of a low-tech weapon running on 1,000 watts. Then you have these things here, these huge towers of death. Now each row in this tower, an array, or a set of dishes, is connected to a cable with a maximum power output of 300,000 watts, or 300 kilowatts. That's 300 microwave ovens.
I'm telling you guys, we got to bring a lot of stuff back to, working for us and not against us, because these guys are, really well set up. And I do agree, if it is a military tribunal, but they're sitting in the DOJ court at the moment, so I don't think he could still plead the fifth. So until he gets dragged out into a military tribunal, then he's got no say. But yeah, that's what's meant to happen. So let's watch it happen. But guys, the synthetic ether, to get back to the last clip, the synthetic ether that they are building out there is very, very detrimental to you. It is scary, Teresa.
Yeah, now, look, I didn't play this. I forgot to play this one, but it's really important. Okay, Justice Matters, they do a really good job. And this is on Bravehearts.
Yeah.
An Austrac investigation found that Westpac enabled hundreds of PD files to watch live child SA online and to meet up with children in the Philippines. So with that in mind, would you promote Westpac as being safe for children? Well, we discovered that's exactly what Braveheart's child protection charity does. They promote Westpac as safer children, safer communities, which is mind-boggling. But it gets even worse, because at the same time as Bravehearts promotes Westpac as being safe for children, an article on their website claims to have cut ties with Westpac after accusing them of being associated with over 3,000 child SA offences, although figures show the actual number was more like 65,000. Incredibly, when we contacted Braveheart's founder, Hetty Johnston, she threatened us to try and stop us from investigating and exposing this. And when we contacted Braveheart's CEO, Alison Gill, she falsely claimed that the Westpac tagline, "Safer Children, Safer Communities," wasn't supported by Bravehearts, which is bullshit, because it's promoted on their website. We contacted Gill in writing, so it's staggering that she hasn't been sacked.
Oh, look, what do you say, you know? But look, the thing is that we've got so many people now around the world standing up. This is one actually from the UK.
Peacefully protesting, same as us, guys, right? They're going to make out that we are, far extreme right. No, we're just right. We're not extreme right. We are just right. We're correct. In other words, not right, correct in what we are saying.
That's true. David Icke put out a thing a long time ago, said, what if everyone just said no? It's only short, but it's really worthwhile listening to.
Large numbers of people simply refused to pay the tax. What happened? They had to change the tax and drop it. Not only that, it was the start of the end for Margaret Thatcher, who was perceived as the Iron Lady and who was impregnable. And all people have done is say, no, not doing it. Someone comes out of Downing Street, someone comes out of the White House. They say, we've had a meeting and this is what's going to happen. What if enough people say, we're not doing it? Where is their power? There is none. The power of the few is in the acquiescence of the many. And if we stop acquiescing with our own enslavement, we cannot be enslaved. If we go on as we are, we'll live in a fascistic Orwellian global state within decades. And I'm being seriously optimistic when I say decades. If we take our power back and we start questioning and we stop fighting among ourselves, then 7.5 billion people can't be controlled by a handful. If the 7.5 billion, A, know what's going on, and B, won't have it.
Look, that's exactly what we need, you know what I mean? But the problem is these guys are, you know, getting their immigration set up to crush us before we get there, guys. And that's the problem with Australia. You know, it looks like look, Britain's standing up, but they're now in a position where they've waited a bit too long to stand up. You know, and that's what's and these guys play this, they know. All right, they know. They know exactly how to come at us in each country, in each area. All right, so we just look for the day when everyone does say no, enough's enough.
We're going to be taken out tonight by Natalie Grant. Praise you in this storm. So, Dave, if you'd like to wrap up and close the show, I shall hit play.
Well, it's a storm, all right, guys. Snowtown. We all remember the bodies in the barrels down in Snowtown, South Australia. They took, I think it was about 11 people or something that they killed and took out. Took their identities, got their dole checks, and continue on. Despicable people. One of these persons was a friend of mine. I would have to call her. I went through school with her. Her name was Catherine Mackay. And she was one of the victims in the Snowtown bodies in the barrels. She was a horse lover. They were down there in the country, her and a partner. So this guy is about to get parole. And again, guys, how's this system work? 11 people they took out, I think it was, by memory. 11 people. Yet here's someone else, someone coming out back into, you know, our society. We're going to start and straighten things out, guys. And people that do the crime, that deserve the time, need to get the time. But anyway, it is changing. And, yeah, we'll see more going our way. So let's, what I haven't got in is the posters for you, Craig, for our little thing. But anyway, we'll do that, guys. As I said, yeah, flyers tomorrow night. We're a month out. Wollongong's organised, all right? So we need you people, if you want to be part of it, and it's your community, all right? So you just want to wake them up. Let's get going, guys. Get organised, all right? You can see what we've done. We've got a bit of a plan out there. Get into it, all right? Wake your community up, guys, because like Ike just said, the minute we all stand up together and say no is when this thing stops. All right, good night, people. Thanks, Caz.
I was sure by now, God, you would have reached down and wiped our tears away, stepped in and saved the day. But once again, I say amen, and it's still raining. And as the thunder rolls, I barely hear you whisper through the rain, I'm with you. And as your mercy falls, I raise my hands and praise the God who gives and takes away. And I'll praise you in this dark, and I will lift my hand, 'cause you are who you are, no matter where I am. And every tear I've cried, you hold in your hand, never left my side. Though my heart is torn, I will praise you in this storm. I remember when I stumbled in the wind, you heard With my cry to you raised me up again. My strength is almost gone. How can I carry on if I can't find you? But as the thunder rolls, I barely hear you whisper through the rain. I'm with you. And as your mercy falls, I raise my hands and praise the God who gives and takes away. And I'll praise you in this dark, and I will lift my hands, 'cause you are who you are, no matter where I am. And every tear I've cried, you hold in your hands. You never left my side, and though my heart is torn, I will praise you in this storm. Oh, and though my heart is torn, I will praise you in this storm. I lift my eyes unto the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth.